Hi there, I'm Linda and this is Huttons Valley Permaculture. I'm slowly gearing up for summer planting. I've got various seedlings started and some that need to be potted up. I do need to do some bed prep work because I've got some direct seeds to sow. I usually use my planting guide as a bit of a checklist as to what I've still got to organise. So let's have a look at this planting guide. So I tend to go down the list, I think through what I've already got in the ground and what's still to be done, and then I run across to the current month, which is October at the moment, and then run down the list and see out of the things that I've still got to get organised what I can do this month. The orange denotes direct sowing, so that is beans. I'm going to get some velotti beans in today. And just running down, I haven't got any corn started. And yep, October's the month to do that. So I'm going to get both the beans and the corn started today, but I do need to get those garden beds ready. Simple as this little chart is, it really helps me get on top of all the things I need to do in the garden. As you can see, in my former corn bed, I haven't really done anything with this space over winter. The soil has been covered with the old duck bedding, but it really needs to be replenished because we are getting down to kind of the soil level. Today I'm just going to remove these corn stalks, get some corn into the ground and get another application of the duck bedding on the bed. I will just pull any little weeds that are here as well, which come out fairly easy because they're quite small. Now I've got plenty of lettuce everywhere, so I will just be moving these plants on as well. All the old corn stalks can just head off to the compost. This here is just some grass clippings that I've dumped on this bed, so I'll move those off, but I'll be re-putting that on after I've planted my seeds. You can really see how well those grass clippings keep the area moist compared to the surrounding area. So it's really worthwhile having your mulch on top of your garden beds. I'm just going to plant this golden bantam sweet corn, which I got from Eden Seeds. So first up, I'm just going to mark my rows. I'm going to have 3 rows. So I'm running on about 60 centimetres spacing. This little spider isn't too happy with the disturbance. Lovely blue egg sac. So now to just get my seeds in, and it's a depth of 2 to 3 centimetres and 20 to 30 centimetre spacing. So I'm just going to pop my seeds out. I'm going to put 2 at each spot just to make sure that I get a plant everywhere. And now that I've got them spaced out, I'm just going to dig them in just about this much. Make sure that the birds don't dig them up and make sure they get a good start. Disturbing the soil as least as possible. Okay, we're done. But before I finish with the garden and give it a water, I'm just going to add some duck bedding. Yesterday I went and collected a pile of duck bedding, which really helps with the fertility of the garden. It's a bit of an ordeal getting all the duck bedding out, but I usually just keep adding hay on top and then remove it sort of every so often when it kind of gets too thick. And I've got a pile of lovely fertiliser for the garden. And the ducks are usually pretty happy with their fresh new space. I'm just going to grab some of this now so that it's in place for when these little plants come up. but I won't cover in over the top of them. I'm just going to pop it sort of in between where I've planted my corn. That's the duck bedding on, and I have left the rows where I've planted the corn seeds free of the duck bedding, but I am going to add just a thin layer of these grass clippings over the actual corn seed rows. And that is just to ensure there is some moisture retention in the soil and make sure that they don't dry out and die off during germination. And it all adds to the organic matter, of course, in your garden bed. And now to get some water onto it. So with my corn now in the ground, let's go and get my borlotti bean bed sorted. Just wandering through the garden, past my winter garden, with cabbages still coming along and the celery going well. Heading in past all of this, I'm planning to clear this bed here. It's really got random things in it, including weeds. I've got some volunteer parsnips, which I may or may not leave in, but as you can see, it's just a bed of volunteer sorrel. So I want to get all of that cleared out. And there's some volunteer peas as well. Hopefully some of this parsnip will be ready to come out of the ground, but I might just plant around it. I'll have to see when we get into this bed what we're really going to do. The first thing we need to do, of course, is clear this garden bed. I'll just start down this end of the garden bed, which has got a lot less vegetation, so it'll be easy to clear this out. Now I've lost my good sickle, but I've still got my left-handed sickle here, which isn't, it just feels more comfortable if you're left-handed, just the way the handle is, but you can work it either way. I'm going to be adding some mushroom compost to this bed. It's right down at soil level, so it does need that organic layer on top of it to feed the soil and keep that moisture in. And I think this lot can go straight to the chickens. Here you go, guys. Now a lot of this is self-seeded lettuce. I've got heaps of lettuce everywhere, so I don't mind sharing that with my girls. There you go. Now this is the first of quite a few parsnips that I'm going to be pulling out of the ground here. So we'll see what we've got. Just the start of a parsnip really, and just a couple more parsnips here. I'll get them out the ground and out the way. That one's a bit bigger. Well, they're not a bad size for roasting. Well, it's hard to avoid a clump of parsnips. I've got a few over here that I might just try leaving to grow on and see if I can get a decent sized parsnip out of this bed. But now I've got to deal with all this sorrel. The soil's fairly soft here, so these sorrel plants are pulling out fairly easily, which is a relief. And they have been keeping the soil moist and given the soil life something to eat as well. I did have some painted mountain corn growing here after the peas, which did okay. I've got lots of peas growing elsewhere, so I'm not going to worry about those. I've left those couple of parsnips there, and just down this end I do have a few. They're all bunched in together, there's quite a lot, but I think being at the end of the garden, I'm happy to leave these parsnips and just sort of see how they go. There's heaps of bees on this at the moment, but I've got to make the call. Sometimes you just got to move your plants on. I've got lots of other flowering plants in the garden, so hard as it is, I'm going to move this plant. The chickens will love this lot. Well, that's the garden bed cleared. All I'm going to do now before planting is get my layer of compost on. And now that the compost is down, I'll get 4 rows of borlotti beans planted. Once again, I like to go through and just put my seeds on top, so I kind of have an idea of where they're all going and that I'll have enough space. And once I've got them all down, I just push them into the ground, making sure that they're well buried, because sure as anything, the birds will come and try and find them. Beans done. Now, as the beans grow, I will be adding duck bedding and the grass clippings again to feed the soil and also maintain the moisture. One thing I've got to get done today is get these little basil seeds potted up. I've got sweet basil. This is a Krishna purple and a temperate holy basil. I did grow another one, which was the green holy basil, but it hasn't come up at all. So I'll get these ones out first. It's a bit of a tedious job, but it's good to, I like to start them off just in these little trays, because as you can see, one of these seeds is no longer viable. It didn't come up at all. And then you're not kind of wasting your time in these larger trays. So I'd put quite a few of those seeds in, and I got 5 plants. So you just don't know. And now just the sweet basil to do. I've just filled that tray with a potting mix and moistened it down completely before adding in these little seedlings. All potted up now. Some of those root systems were pretty large, which makes me feel that perhaps I should have put these into a larger cell size. But they're done now. I'll see how they go. And I'm sure we'll be growing some beautiful tulsi and basil for summer. And what better way to finish a morning in the garden than to do a quick harvest? I've got quite a few of my globe artichokes ready to go, so I'm going to take those inside. Now, I've just been enjoying globe artichokes for a couple of years now, since I've been growing them here. And I have a video on it, so if you are new to globe artichokes, check out my video. I'll leave a link at the end. And you might discover a beautiful new food. Look at that one. Well, I'm headed into the kitchen now to steam up some artichokes to go in a salad. I hope you've enjoyed hanging out in the garden with me this morning. Thanks so much for watching, and bye for now. Oh my God!
I must have put the camera nearly right on top of him.
Oh, yep.
But it's just not. Here he goes.
Oh, yay! Done. I got a little bit.
I said it. When it happens really quickly. Got a lot of stripes on it. You're hearing his thing?
Yeah.
That's a male.
Oh, okay, it is a he.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy. Sorry, mate. I know you're happy here.